Welcome to Daily Armor. Today we're going to be in John chapter 11, verse number 17, and we'll probably touch on verses 23 through 27 as well. So looking at verse number 17 of John 11, it says, "Then when Jesus came, he found that he had laid in the grave 4 days already." This is speaking about Lazarus. He got a message, the prayer request was made, and the message was sent. In verse number 3, it says, that whom thou lovest is sick. The speaking of Lazarus, the message was coming from Martha and from Mary, their Lazarus' sisters, and they sent this message on to the Lord, wanting him to come back, wanting healing for their brother. They knew that this sickness was very, very dangerous, and that he was, close to death. Obviously, he died. But then we notice that in verse number 6, that when Jesus received the message, it said in verse number 6, let me back up a page here. It says, "When he had heard, therefore, that he was sick, he abode 2 days still in the same place where he was." Jesus stayed put. He didn't come. And he has reasons. When I'm looking at things that I'm asking him to do in my life and in my family and for my church and for my situations and for the prayer requests that I have been given for other situations, praying for others and praying for people that just, friends of people who I don't really know, but I pray for them because somebody asked me to. And I'm praying and I don't know all of the details. I don't know what all's going on, but I do know in my own life that the Lord is often doing more than just what it looks like on the surface. This was more to it than just that Lazarus was sick and that he needed to be healed. God had a bigger plan, and one that was so out there, that was so shocking, that Mary and Martha wouldn't even have fathomed that they could ask such a request. They could not even fathom that God had such a wonderful plan and such a wonderful miracle to share with them and with others. And he had a plan. He had a plan the whole time. And his timing was impeccable. He shows up in verse number 17. "Then when Jesus came, he found that he had lain in the grave 4 days already." So he had been there 4 days. The other miracles that we have saw in the scriptures about when Jesus healed somebody or brought them back from death, it was during that same day that they had died. And the Jewish custom was that many of them believed that the soul lingered for about 3 days, where it could, have re-entered into the body. Jewish customs was also that they were to bury their dead during the first day of death. So obviously Lazarus was buried probably the same day the messenger came to Jesus and shared that, Lazarus is sick. Probably he died before the message ever even got to Jesus. Jesus already knowing that, already aware of all that, because God knows everything. He knows everything, and we don't. And I know if you're like me, I get frustrated at the stuff that I don't understand. I get frustrated at myself. I don't get frustrated with the Lord. I just get frustrated with myself. And that some things just, simply don't make sense. But then it dawns on me, hey, you know what? It doesn't make sense, but I don't have to understand it. I don't have to try to figure it out, because I'm trusting God for all of those things. And also that I realize through this that God, sometimes when we're asking him about something and we're waiting on him and we know he's going to answer in his way and we know he's going to answer in his time, we also can understand he's doing way more. He's doing way more than we can even comprehend. And it's letting me know that sometimes I don't even know how to ask the question. I don't even know how to make a prayer request properly, because there's so much more going on that I cannot even comprehend. That I am just resting and trusting in him and going back to the scriptures and for comfort and for guidance, and using this John 11 this raising Lazarus from the dead as a wonderful example that can be used today and in years to come, to let me know that he's always on time and that his plan is way different than I could even think of. So our minds are wonderful, but they're still have boundaries. And God has no boundaries. See, his ways are not our ways. His thoughts are not our thoughts. He can think beyond. His capacity is infinite, and mine's limited. And yet he has no limits. And so when we're praying, we don't want to pray and then get disappointed when things don't go the way we thought they would. We don't want to be disappointed when we don't understand. We just simply want to rest in that we don't have to understand. And that God has such a way of doing things that we are going to be like, I never knew it could happen that way. I never saw that coming, because that's how amazing God is. That's just absolutely how amazing God is. So if you're praying about something and it seems like it's already too late, that there's no way, God has a plan that is just way bigger than what we can comprehend. And we just need to simply trust him and wait on him and just turn to him for everything. What he told Martha, he said that, verse number 25, he said, Jesus saith unto her, speaking to Martha, he said, I am the resurrection and the life. He that believeth in me, though he were dead, yet shall he live. Verse 26, and whosoever liveth and believeth in me shall never die. Believest thou this? He asked her, he said, do you believe me? Do you believe what I'm telling you? And she's like, yes, Lord, because she says here in verse number 27, and she saith unto him, yea, Lord. She's saying, yes, Lord, I believe you. She's saying, I believe you, Lord, I just don't understand. And I'm just grieving and I'm mourning and I just don't understand. But Lord, I believe whatever you say. I believe in that what you can do is just beyond my comprehension. And so she didn't understand, and I don't understand, and sometimes you don't understand, but we're still loving him and we're still trusting him and we're still saying, yes, Lord, I believe. Even though I don't understand everything, I believe, and your ways are not my ways, and that there is nothing that is impossible. And if anything, John chapter 11 can teach you that nothing is impossible. If anything else that John chapter 11 can teach you is that his timing is always right. In his time, he'll do it in his time. Thank you for joining me. I look forward to seeing you again soon.